You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go!
What's up, guys, and welcome to Podcast PXN episode 159. I am one of your hosts, Rotan Warner, aka Roro, and I am joined over Discord by Kentucky's #1 Spartan, Daniel Prindle.
Hello.
I'm also joined by the Tarkov Teletubby, Gage Dempster. And video essayist and host of Large Popcorn, Christian Macias, aka Christian.
Thank you. What is up with Mario's ass?
We will be talking about that. Don't you worry.
Good.
Don't you worry. What is up with Mario's ass? Hopefully we'll find out tomorrow.
Right. I just want to say something. I aspire to be like Christian. This man comes into the podcast late and then tells us to get started. I aspire to be like you when I grow up.
Thank you,
Am
everyone.
I older than you? Oh, I'm sorry. Ro, please.
Thank you, everyone, for watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, most of the time, on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN, and you'll find us there at twitch.tv/podcastpxn, or you can search up us on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN and you will find us. The topic of the show this week is Sony and their future plans for PlayStation. We're going to be talking about Herman Hulst's interview, the Horizon Zero Dawn remake, and more. Before we get there, let's start with the PXN news of the week. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. And the first topic is the new Callisto Protocol trailer. I watched it, but I'm sure you guys got a lot more out of it. It looked really cool. I liked it, but Dan, I know you're super hyped for this. Christian, I know you're super hyped for this. Gage, I think you're super hyped for this too. But Dan, what did you think about this new trailer?
It looks good, nice and gory. Some nice gore. I love it. This game. It's insane. Actually, we got a new trailer for this and the next one we're gonna talk about. I won't spoil that, but yeah, the one scene where the thing's like going across the track or whatever and just destroys that creature and blows it into a million bits. Yes, please.
Yes. And also, Christian?
Me? Watch a trailer for anything? What are you, nuts?
True.
You think I'll watch trailers?
That's
no.
true. No,
I did watch this next one, though. It was an ad.
Okay.
And I watched it.
They got you. But before we get to there, I just wanted to also shout out Karen Fukuhara from The Boys is also to star in the show or the game, the Callisto Protocol. She was in the trailer and she said, "This is not what it's all about. It's not about escape, Jacob. It's about answers." Fantastic delivery. I haven't watched The Boys, but she seems good.
You haven't watched The Boys? It's good.
I have not. Maybe I will because Karen Fukuhara is a good actor.
Wait, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Wait. I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do the Dan thing. I wanted to.
The Dan thing.
Jesus Christ.
I was late to the pre-show, so I have to say this here, and then we can move on entirely.
Okay.
I am finally going to watch the finale of Better Call Saul tonight.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Well, which means you're starting The Expanse soon. That's exciting.
And we'll see about that.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that was coming.
The
You're
Xbox
predictable.
Store page has also shown that the Dead Space remake is live, and the new trailer also released right after the Callisto Protocol stuff as well. So it's cool to get these back to back. And Christian, you said you watched this one. How'd you find this one?
Scary. I was immediately transported back to when I first started playing this game for the very first time, and I'm excited to be scared again. This is one of the very few games that has given me nightmares, and I couldn't play this one for months. And I'm so excited to try it again as an adult. Maybe I've grown up a little bit. But oh my god, the sounds for this game sounds so good. The zero-G stuff. Can't wait.
Good looking game. Talking about good looking games, Sackboy: A Big Adventure is coming to PC on October 27th, making its way off of PlayStation to PC to find a new audience. So that's great. Love that. PlayStation Stars has also launched in the West. I'm reading from BGC. I'm sure we all have something to say about this one, but let me go. Oh,
What?
It's time.
What happened?
It's not.
We got 2 minutes.
Oh no.
While you guys are being real, I'm going to read this article here. Players in Japan have been expressing their displeasure at one aspect of the newly launched PlayStation Stars loyalty program, which offers better customer support to players on the highest tier. PlayStation Stars, which is coming to the West later in October now, lets players earn rewards by completing a variety of campaigns and activities. The program also has a 4-tier level system in which players start at level 1 and can work their way up to level 4 by buying games and earning trophies. However, some users are upset that the level 4 tier, which is unlocked after buying four full price games from PlayStation, that's $400 from at least in Canada, from the PlayStation Store, and earning 128 rare trophies rewards players with improved customer service. According to Sony, the level 4 tier perks include a commemorative collectible and a promise that, quote, when contacting PlayStation customer support, you will be given priority in chat order. Of course, a lot of people were not happy with that. One Twitter user says, customer support must be equal. There are people who only like a few titles and play them, and there are gamers who can't afford money or time. I'm going to end it there so we could start discussing the topic. PlayStation Stars did launch today. I did sign up. I got my little telescope. But yeah, this is one's a weird one for sure.
Isn't this exactly pay to win? Isn't that exactly what that is?
It's weird because it's free, but if you pay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, yeah, that's exactly what pay to win is.
Yeah, I guess if you're like a higher tier member, yeah, you get more priority. Which that's not how customer service should work at all.
Not even a little bit. This is so
this
is so fucked. This is so fucked.
It gets worse actually.
If that's possible.
I don't know if you guys have seen this, but like a lot of other services like Nintendo and Xbox, if you spend money, you get like their little fake digital currency that you can use to like then get rewards and buy stuff with. And so like people are doing the math on this. I forget the specific numbers, but you have to spend, I think it's like you have to for every dollar you spend, you get a certain amount of coins. And I think if you want to get a full-priced game, $70 in the US, you have to buy, I think, the equivalent of, 24 or 25 new games for you to get one free game? Kind of egregious.
A lot.
I thought I saw online, like, if you buy a one of those PlayStation games on their list, that you got 50 coins, which translates to, like, 40 cents. Maybe I'm wrong, but okay. That's insane. Like, what?
So, you're right here. It's 50 points for buying a $70 game, and redeeming a free game costs up to 17,500 points. So that ratio is quite a bit.
Woo!
Also, it's not retroactive, so I already bought The Last of Us. Can't buy that again.
Should have waited for this program to come out. You knew it was coming.
Apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a crazy conversion that you're talking about there. Even Nintendo, like, if you get a full price Nintendo game, I think you get at least $5 to go towards the next thing, which I would not expect Nintendo to have the win in the quote unquote win in this category. But yeah, that's wild. And I know Microsoft Points is pretty good. Maybe Dan could speak to that a little bit better, but I heard that system is nothing really to complain about there.
Yeah. Typically,
Microsoft Rewards is not bad. Yeah.
Typically, before literally almost every game launch, you can get Microsoft Rewards for pre-ordering, and I think it's like 5,000 Microsoft points, which translates to roughly $5.
Well, the thing with Microsoft points too is that you get them for not buying games as well. Like if you have, I think maybe it's only if you have Game Pass Ultimate, but I know for me, like every time I remember that I'm part of that, I'll check it and I'll get like 200, 300 points because I'll have like 15 quests done, and it'll be as simple as like boot up this game on Game Pass or like play this on xCloud. So that's kind of cool because you can theoretically not spend money and just get points from. You'll get them at a very slow rate, but like you could get money just from starting up games that you already have on Game Pass or earning an achievement in this or doing that. So I think Microsoft Rewards is pretty good, but I think, like Rashan said, Nintendo surprisingly wins the category in this one.
First of all, I also want to mention that, like, I guess the other side of like the Nintendo thing is like your rewards on Nintendo expire after a year. With PlayStation, it's 2 years, so it's a bit longer. I don't know what it is on Microsoft's end. maybe forever. Who knows? I'm just saying things
I
to stall because Dan, please.
No, you're good. I think the Microsoft points, unless I'm mistaken, don't expire. And then once you redeem them for like real world values, you have to use it within like 2 to 3 months, I think. So like after you redeem for your credit. Yeah.
So I logged in today and I signed up for this just to check it out, kind of customize my stuff. And there are like 3 challenges up right now. Or I guess, yeah, what is it? There's 4, I'm sorry. One is to, buy a game. This one I haven't seen. What is this? Pick a fight to honor 30 years of Hadoukens. Play one of the, I don't know, Street Fighter, Marvel's Capcom, whatever. Play a game. That's another one. And then this one really is weird. It's called Hit Play /1994. And the description reads, launch the game matching a circa 1994 song. And then it's auto-registered, so I just started this challenge automatically just by signing up. And the objectives say stay, cross circle of life, or baby, I love your way, cross go west, or Mr. Jones, cross regular. It just goes on. There's songs, but like I don't know how to complete this or what to do. Which is a shame because the collectible looks cool.
Jesus.
Well,
Anyway, what are you doing?
I saw Elijah post something on Twitter that I thought was interesting too. Like that he said he thinks that this might have been an NFT initiative that they started, that then they kind of pivoted it after NFTs started going badly.
It probably was, dude. It probably was.
Possible. Yeah. I do want to move on to the next topic, but I did want to ask what you guys, just really quick, do you guys think Sony continues to support this in the future? Is this something that's a long-lasting thing? Do they backtrack some stuff? Do you think, yeah, I just want to know what you guys think real quick, if you guys think they'll continue to support stars. I know they got rid of accolades recently too.
Yes, I think they'll support it more because it's easier to find than accolades. Accolades is ridiculous to find. This is just, it's right on the app, it just pops up.
Yeah. Okay. All right, moving on to our next story. Fandom has acquired GameStop, GameFAQs, Giant Bomb, Metacritic, and more. And yeah, I don't know what else to say besides that. San Francisco, California, Charlotte. What I'm trying to read here, sorry.
Fandom's gonna just destroy all these sites.
Yeah.
I mean,
The world's largest fan platform today announced it has acquired a portfolio of entertainment and gaming brands from Red Ventures, GameStop, Metacritic, TV Guide, GameFAQs, Giant Bomb, and a bunch of others. Yeah. So hopefully this means good things for those places, but
no,
it's probably not. Yeah, probably not. Oh man. Moving on to our next story, Dan, maybe you could help me with the name again, but Andriy Nizrok Korzinskin?
Yeah.
Was that okay? All right.
Yeah.
Metro Games animator unfortunately died while performing combat mission in the struggle for independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of Ukraine. This was found out, I guess, on Twitter. Andriy Korinskin, I messed it up again, apologies, died while performing a combat mission. Oh, I just said, repeating what I just said. A talented animator, incredible person, and a real hero. Rest in peace, friend. We all miss you. And just 3 days ago, they were talking about completing an animation for a project they were working on, which is...
Can you imagine?
So
Can you imagine having that kind of existence where like you're working on a project and like, all right, time to go try to fight for the survival of my people and my country from invaders. And then dying? That's absolutely insane that we live in a world like this.
Yeah, it should put it into perspective for people that it's like there's a lot more serious things in the world than what we bicker about on Twitter most of the time. It's incredibly unfortunate, and it's I don't know. It's so bittersweet though, because Ukraine has also done the unthinkable, and I don't know. It's so hard to explain without getting into the war. So it's super unfortunate, and obviously prayers and thoughts and all that stuff to his family. It's super unfortunate.
Absolutely. Yeah, awful. And like Metro Games, I love them, and I can't even imagine like what they're going through right now, because they used to be based in Ukraine, and they kind of fled the area. So yeah, awful, very terrible news.
In other news, IGN got to sit down with High on Life devs and roam around the previously unseen Zypher Paradise biome, discussing Justin Roiland's comedic influence and how there's so much funny dialogue in the game that not even some of the developers have heard at all, which was a concern that I had when we first saw it. Is the guns going to start repeating little phrases going on? But it seems like there's enough there for players to enjoy without repeating dialogue, which is good.
Told y'all.
Yeah, Christian was right.
I'm very stoked after watching this video. Like, that world that they showed off looks really awesome, very colorful. And the one thing we did learn from that video as well, there's not going to be a ton of weapons, so the weapons are kind of main characters. I think they said there's only going to be a handful of weapons since they're fully voiced and everything. So that might be one concern that people may have, but other than that, I'm pretty excited to check this game out when it comes
out. Really switching gears here, U.S. Labor Board finds that Activision Blizzard withheld raises unionization. This is right from IGN. Ryan Dimsdale writes, the U.S. government National Labor Relations Board has found that Call of Duty and Overwatch publisher Activision Blizzard withheld pay raises from some Raven software employees as a result of their unionization. Activision Blizzard has disputed this, however, saying that it wasn't possible to offer raises due to, quote, legal obligations. And they said, quote, due to legal obligations under the National Labor Relations Act requiring employees not to grant wage increases while an election was pending, we could not institute new pay initiatives at Raven, a spokesperson told the Washington Post. Essentially, Activision Blizzard claims it legally wasn't able to offer the employees a pay raise because they were in the midst of voting to unionize, as per Label Board v. Exchange Parts. Gage.
Just before we all start shitting on Activision, that is true.
Yes.
That is true. You cannot do that because they're being shitty about it. Don't get me wrong. They're very happy that they couldn't do that. But if you have employees that are voting on whether or not to unionize and you offer them a raise, that raise is only dependent on they don't unionize, they are true. I hate to say it, Activision is absolutely correct. So I don't know who this person is that found, like, we found that you withheld raises. I don't know what department they're from or who they are, if they're just some person, but that is true to American law. You cannot offer employees who are voting on So Activision's right, unfortunately.
I think
so. Just want to throw that out.
Very convenient for you, Activision.
Oh, absolutely. No, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they had a huge shit-eating grin on their face when they're like, sorry, we can't. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're not a piece of shit, but they are right in this instance. They are absolutely right.
I think the timing, the timing is just like, did they place these raises in this time span just because they do this? Like that. Yeah, that's...
Yeah. Ugh. Oh, what's that? Half of you guys want to unionize? You know what? Actually, it's raise time. Like, don't get me wrong. That's exactly what they did. They're pieces of shit. But they were not legally allowed to offer these people raises. They couldn't.
Speaking of pieces of shit for this next one, too, huh?
Let's just jump right into it. A fired Nintendo contractor who filed an official complaint with the National Labor Relations Board has spoken out for the first time, revealing their name along with additional details about the incident that ultimately led to the complaint filed in April. In an interview with Axios, former Nintendo QA tester Mackenzie Clifton alleged that they were dismissed after asking for Nintendo of America's view on the growing unionization trend within gaming, and during an online public meeting, they said they were rebuked for asking a, quote, downer question and were fired a month later. Nintendo's official reasoning was that Clifton had disclosed confidential information. The cited tweet, date February 16th, read, in today's build, someone somewhere must have deleted every other texture in the game. BC, everything is now red, because everything is now red, just like pure red. It's very silly, end quote. Clifton says that that tweet is vague. It's so vague, arguing it is misdirection. However, Nintendo is also known for its strict social media policy, leading to many employees to stop posting entirely in order to avoid crossing what they perceive as an ill-defined line. So I guess it could be the tweet, but probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like more of an excuse to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super unfortunate. I mean, if there's anything to take from this, if you are trying to get in the video game industry and you end up at Nintendo, maybe just err on the side of caution, unless you are willing to lose your job for what you believe in which case, all the power to you. But like, I don't know. Like if they have a history of being kind of like, I don't know. I personally wouldn't play with fire if I didn't want to lose my job at Nintendo. But each their own.
But I mean, it's just a stark reminder of how anti-union a lot of these companies still are. Like even the family-friendly ones that we like to think of, like Nintendo, is still like, oh, what is this mighty thin ice you're treading upon?
Yeah,
Last of Us reference.
I got it immediately.
Speaking of Nintendo, Bayonetta 3 is on the Game Informer cover, so you can expect some coverage from Game Informer if you are interested in the upcoming Bayonetta 3 game, which I am very excited for. As well, that was found out recently, the Bayonetta's voice actress has been replaced with a new voice actor. I'm trying to find the...
Jennifer Hale.
Sorry.
It's Jennifer Hale.
Jennifer Hale, yes, thank you, from Mass Effect. So yeah.
And Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Oh.
Let's go.
Right?
But,
Isn't she Rivet?
And well, she's also no, she's not. No, yeah, she is. No, she's not. Never mind.
But
I have a take.
I just wanted to read the reason that they were replaced as well. The article states Bayonetta's voice changed not because of alternate timeline, but because of scheduling conflict. Pretty much what I've been saying. Oh, this person.
I don't believe it. I jumped on the board now. What, 5 years making this game? Scheduling conflicts? I don't know. I think they're pulling a switcheroo on us. I think they're lying. I think they're covering their tracks. I'm part of the conspiracy theorists now.
What are they?
A switcheroo is our fighting words. Switcheroo is not just something people throw around.
Wait, what
So
are
you
they?
think this is a switcheroo?
What are they covering their tracks from? That it's an alternate timeline, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay. How does that affect the story? Like for people that don't know about Bayonetta.
Who knows? We don't know. We don't know what Bayonetta 3 is. What's going on?
Oh, I got you. I thought it
So
was.
why use it? But why, like when MCU does alternate timelines, they still use the same actors for this. Like, why does that have to do with?
Because the MCU's stupid.
No, I know.
Exactly.
But, okay.
Exactly.
I don't know. I've reached my wit's end with this weeb stuff. So that's
And
I've lost the. Sorry, go bro. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Were you going to say
Let's
something
move
about? Okay, I was just going to move on to the last story here, which is the Mario stuff. The trailer is coming tomorrow. I'm very excited. We got a cool poster. This poster is so cool, even though the lack of Mario's butt is very present. People are not happy about that. But yeah, I really like the poster. I'm worried about what Chris Pratt might say in the trailer. How he might sound.
Way, dude, it's gonna be insane.
But I'm still excited. But yeah,
it's gonna be like what his Legoland. What movie? What movies does he do?
Lego movie.
Lego World. Lego movie. The Lego movie.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
next Lego to any.
It's gonna be Chris Pratt's Legoland voice, but with like an Italian tinge to it that seems almost racist. Is my prediction.
Oh,
I'm
Jesus.
so excited for that. I'll go see that if that's what it is.
What the?
I'm worried.
Huh?
How about
I'm scared.
instead of what? He goes, wait. Sorry.
I would go see that. Oh my god, that'd be perfect. I'm gonna learn how to mod games just so I can mod Super Mario Bros. And that's the only change I make. Is that when he instead of saying Wahoo, he says wait.
We are wandering into Street Meat or Scuttlebutt Lane. Here we are. Need for Speed under.
Wait. Whoa.
I'm sorry. Need for Speed Unbound, which sounds a lot worse if you ask me. That sounds. Anyways, Need for Speed Unbound is coming December 2nd.
What is going on?
There was a leak earlier today. It was revealed on a Japanese website, I believe, and Insider Gaming had the scoop as well. But yeah, we got some cool screenshots from the game that was leaked on the website. It has a really cool anime art style, look like some Spider-Verse influence too with the special effects. That's the best example that I could give. But yeah, it looks cool, and we're getting an official reveal tomorrow morning from EA. And yeah, 8 a.m. PT. Be there, be square. I'm really excited actually. After seeing those screenshots, I'm interested for sure.
Okay, I'm looking at the thread here and didn't realize apparently they changed some assets from their previous Need for Speed games to match the color scheme of the new one too, which is weird.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you mean changed assets?
Like the artwork, it's like a neon green like style like the Unbound assets are. So like Need for Speed Heat, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, Need for Speed Payback all have like neon green artwork now instead of like what their original artwork was.
They're doing the Assassin's Creed thing. That's
I guess, yeah.
Why? What does that
Branding,
do?
like-
I don't know.
Yeah. Bro, I would love to get paid millions of dollars to sit in a boardroom and be like, what if we change all the thumbnails of our old games to green? And somebody's like, that's fucking hype.
Genius.
Do it.
Yeah.
You know what would be? Oh yeah, sorry.
I want to say that the art style is really exciting to me.
Yeah.
And also just like the screenshots are gorgeous. I think Kevin Diaz was talking about how it does give off underground vibes, and I gotta echo that as well. I think it's really exciting. There's also another game that people were talking about that this reminds them of that I've never heard about until today.
What was it called?
I'm looking for it right now.
Oh, okay. Well, while you're looking for that, Multiverses leak possibly reveals Mark Hamill's Joker might be coming to Multiverses.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. This version of the Joker from Batman the Animated Series, voiced by Mark Hamill, might make its way into Multiverses, Warner Bros. Crossover fighting game. A new data mine reveals voice lines of the character. Of course, that tweet is no longer on the internet, but yeah, that would be pretty cool. I would like that a lot.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Wait, what the fuck?
Whoa.
Wait.
Wait.
What happened?
This has to be fake. ASAP Rocky will be a character in the upcoming Need for Speed Unbound. I don't believe that for a second.
Find out tomorrow.
Oh no.
More Pretty Flacco Jordan.
Is ASAP Rocky, is he the one who had the real life battle royale?
What?
What?
Is that,
Oh
is
no,
that-
that was who was that? Was that ASAP Rocky?
I can't remember.
Are
Was
you
it?
talking about the awful concert that went wrong?
Yeah.
I
That was
don't think
Travis
that was-
Scott.
Yes,
Travis
that's
Scott.
Oh,
right. There
that's
we
who
go.
it is.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
The
Well, then
real life
never
battle
mind. I
royale.
guess
Oh
my
my
joke
God.
won't land. That's fine.
My God. Moving
Dan's
on.
favorite hip hop artist is Vanilla Ice. I don't know why I dragged down into this. I apologize, Dan.
Catching us stray as usual. Moving on to our next story. Rumors are swirling that Halo is switching to Unreal Engine. This is from Windows Central. A new report from the YouTuber Sean W suggests that Halo Infinite's Battle Royale codename Tanaka is switching to Unreal Engine, and perhaps even Halo itself. We revealed. I don't think that's important to this story, actually. Yeah. So Dan, I look to you on this one.
Yes. So there is speculation. There's been speculation for a while about Halo moving to Unreal Engine, and the rumors are that Tatanka, which is Certain Affinity's project, is basically going to be extended development. So it may still be another year or 2 years away because they're switching to Unreal Engine. That's the report, anyways. And also possibly even the franchise as a whole, obviously after Bonnie Ross left, and also the lead of the Slipspace engine, which powers Halo Infinite, has left as well. A lot of tech debt in that engine of Slipspace. There's rumors that could be the future of the franchise. I know me and Gage talked briefly about this over chat a little bit, and I think it's definitely possible. My only concern that has ever been about switching engines for Halo is, can we make sure we capture Halo the way, the feeling? Because not a lot of franchises successfully switch game engines and the game feels the same. Like, you oftentimes get something and you're like, man, this doesn't feel quite right. Like, there's something here that doesn't, line up when you're switching over. However, there's been success stories as well. So I am very trepidatious about this, but I want to also hope that this would make things better in the future as well.
Can I go?
Yes,
please.
absolutely.
I'm fucking hyped. I'm so hyped. Slipspace is not working out. All right, it is not providing what the team need. Okay, from the outside it seems, I should say. I'm not, obviously I don't work at 343. If I did work at 343, Halo Infinite would be fucking perfect, let me tell you.
Oh my god.
So I don't know if you know this. I'm a bit of an expert. So no, yeah, I think it's one less thing for the team to worry about. You know what I mean? Like if you have an engine that's constantly being worked on by another team, like obviously, and this is the thing, it's Microsoft, right? So I don't even think the licensing issues is really that much of a worry because I mean, yeah, that's pretty much where your blank check is being written from in a way. So you gain an engine that is extremely adaptable, it's extremely versatile, and you don't have to worry about fixing it, trying to make it work while developing the game, which is what they've been doing with Slipspace. Again, allegedly behind the scenes, apparently that's not been an easy engine to work with. So yeah, I'm confident that they can make that feel. I totally understand Dan's opinion, and also if that were to happen, obviously I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want Halo to lose its feel at the cost of switching to Unreal. I'm just extremely confident that won't happen just because of how, like, there's so many games made on Unreal. There's racing games, there's horror games, there's first-person shooters. Like, it's an extremely capable engine. So I don't think it'll be an issue, in which case I'm excited because I'm ready for Halo to... I was really hoping the Halo Infinite would be the return to form. And while it is gameplay-wise, obviously everything else has struggled. So if switching to Unreal means that we can get the team sort of focused on what they need to be focused on and have, less things to worry about, then I'm all for it. I would love for them to switch to Unreal 5.
I think the tricky thing also, Gage, is like, I don't think that Halo Infinite is going to switch engines.
No,
obviously.
I'm not saying that.
No. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like make it seem like you were saying that. That just popped in my head. Like, what are they going to do? Like, are they going to move on from Halo Infinite like sooner than later? By the way, I apologize. I was dying when you made your comment, and I started taking a drink of water and was dying. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
I think so, and you and I have talked. I think you and I spoke about this at length before the game actually launched with their whole 10-year plan. And I think I remember saying something where it's like, well, if they do want to move on beforehand, maybe the fans won't mind. And I feel like we're at that stage now, where if they announce that, if they say like, a year and a half from now, they say next year, year 4, year 3, whatever it is, like, oh, this is going to be our final year. We're working on the next full scale project and we're moving to Unreal. I feel like you wouldn't get a lot of complaints. I feel like when people, so it all depends. But I think I would be happy with them cutting Infinite short because it seems like this isn't working out in terms of everything else except for the gameplay, which for a live service game is kind of important, right? So yeah, I personally would not care if they decide to scrap their 10-year plan. I don't think they're going to hit that anyways, even if they didn't want to. I think that's ambitious. Destiny tried to do that. And I mean, Destiny 2 is 5 years in? So like that's going well, but like Destiny 1 lasted 3 years, and then they're like, all right, never mind, we're doing Destiny
2. I think
Destiny
7 years in.
Yeah.
7 years in. Okay, yeah, almost there.
Wait, you're saying Destiny 2 launched 7 years ago?
Yes.
I don't believe that. I do not believe that for a second.
I'm pretty sure
Shut the
2015.
fuck up.
Yeah.
You're telling me Destiny 1 was 1 year?
Wait, maybe not.
Destiny
That does not sound
I
right.
lied.
Destiny launched
2017.
in
2014.
No, you're right. 2017.
September 20.
Oh, 2017. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So wait. That's 5 years, is it not?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, you're
So
correct.
fuck all of you. I know more than you.
God damn.
Yeah. Let's not forget too that game development is super easy. You just have to copy everything from Slipstream and
Exactly.
just paste it into Unreal, and it just works. You just hit
I
the
could do this
update
in a
button.
minute. I could fucking fix Halo in a minute if they just hired me.
And
Yeah.
that's game development is easy, and that's why we're moving into the podcast PXN news of the week, and that's why CD Projekt Red is making a bunch of video games. So many of them.
Too many.
Too many. Is it
Right.
too many?
Yeah.
Video game development is easy. But we established that.
You got me there, bro. You got me there.
CD Projekt Red just announced a bunch of projects, and yes, it is too many. New IP codenamed Hadar, Project Sirius, a Witcher project, Project Polaris, a Witcher 3 sequel, new trilogy, Project Canis Majoris? What? Canis Majoris, yes. A new story-driven Witcher open-world RPG, and Project Orion Cyberpunk 2077 sequel. There's more to this thread as well. I just want to shout out one more thing before we start discussing, and then we could continue through the thread here. But they're introducing multiplayer to most of their single-player games to, quote, enrich the single player experience.
Are they? Is
yes,
that what it
yes, is? That is why they're doing it. I just wanted to start off the discussion with the actual announcement of all of these games. Christian, I know you said this is a lot, and yeah, what did you think when you saw this announcement?
My initial reaction is like, this is way too many. This is way too many games to be announcing when don't get me wrong. Edge Runners is a hit, and I'm glad that people are going back to your game. But like, people are going back to
people.
Okay, that's not what people are going back to Cyberpunk not because like the game is like fucking fantastic now, because they liked Edge Runners so much that they're willing to give CP 2077 a shot again. Like whether or not like the quality has improved is like a separate discussion. So like it's still not a perfect game. It's still pretty buggy. Like for the most part, like people who have picked it up like are still saying like there are bugs here. They're just overlooking them because the story and like the world is so cool, right?
Yeah.
My thing is that if you keep scrolling down, they did also announce that they're introducing 2 new studios to CDPR, and they're North America, the Vancouver hub and the Boston hub.
Hell yeah.
So like there is going to be congratulations to them, more higher. That's awesome. Like more support. So like there are going to be more teams that like spread apart that are going to be working on these games. So it's not like it's just one team, right? There are many. My thing is like, are you doing too much too soon? And I know that this is for investors. I understand that. But they announced this morning that the new Witcher game is still like at least 4 years away. Like you just dropped a whole new trilogy, but with no details on what's going on with Witcher 4. It's just a lot, dude. Like focus on making one good game first before we start announcing 6 to 7 more, let alone 6 to 7 more that are also multiplayer.
Yeah. I think their plan with what they did with Cyberpunk, Christian, is exactly what they should have done, because, Cyberpunk was announced shortly before The Witcher 3 came out, and so that gives people some excitement to look forward to something, but not release, 6 games. Here you go. Here's 6 games coming.
I mean, I'd argue that Cyberpunk was even announced too soon, but
fair.
But no, Christian's exactly right. This is for investors. Like, this makes me so angry because it's almost like it's an announcement of an announcement of an announcement of an announcement. I mean, like it's so far removed from anything. Like, I think a good rule of thumb, like we always say, like don't announce unless you have something to show. And even if you wanted to be more lax on that rule, how about you don't announce something if it still has a project name? You know what I mean? Like, you don't even know what the game's called yet. I'm not even excited. Like, this doesn't get me excited. This just kind of makes me think like, oh, this is too many games, which is not the reaction you want from fans. Whatever, I'm sure they got the reaction they wanted from investors, but like you're saying, like I just look at this, I'm like, this is too much. And that's not what I want to think about when I think about CD Projekt Red. I want to get fucking hyped.
I think, don't forget that a lot of the writers too that like wrote what is arguably like one of the best from CDPR, Witcher 3, like have since left. But we don't even know like what the quality of these games is going to look like.
Or again, not to be rude, but the quality of these new studios, right? These aren't, like you just said, you have no idea what these guys, what the talent is there, right? If they're just hiring off the street, it could go really well. If they have, senior people from the old studio in lead positions and they're kind of keeping an eye on quality, then that could be good. But at the same time, it's like if these are they're not acquiring studios, they're just building new studios. So who knows? Who knows what these new games look like?
To me, if they had announced like, we're doing like DLC, right, for Phantom Liberty's coming. We already knew about that. If they announced a sequel for Cyberpunk, fair. If they said something about The Witcher, fair. If they announced a new IP, I'd be like, okay, I'm a little worried, but sure. But then the rest of the announcements were like, we're expanding like our IP into like projects outside of video games and like are focusing more on like building like what they did with Edge Runners, like going to other studios and doing like shows and animes. Like that would be a whole different story to me, is like building the brand of Cyberpunk and just like, sorry, not Cyberpunk, CD Projekt. than what they did, which is announce just a shit ton of stuff of
Yeah.
games.
I feel like if they had just announced that they're expanding and they just announced the 2 new studios and that they're continuing the Witcher franchise and they just left it at that, I feel like they
That
would have
would've
gotten
been
a ton of hype. It would have been a ton of hype
Yeah.
because people would have been like, "Oh, you guys are expanding. That means we're gonna get, maybe new games. Or maybe we're gonna get them sooner." We would just be left to think about it as opposed to announcing, "Here's 18 new games, 3 new studios, and we're also doing not games anymore." It's like, what is going on with this?
I was gonna make fun of them for announcing literally 3 Witcher games with the Witcher trilogy being announced, the new Witcher trilogy. But then I remembered Halo 4 was announced as the start of a new trilogy for Halo, so I was like, oh well.
But even that, it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like that's not as bad. It still is kind of, but like if they came out and they're like, we're working on Halo 4, 5, and 6, it's like, well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, this is a lot, but as you guys are saying, it there's 2 audience here eating this up. There's us, the gamers, and then there's the investors who I guess this is for.
Right.
I just wanted to read out. Yeah.
I'm gonna be 40, bro.
Yeah,
when
we're
these
gonna be
when
really
these like are
old.
finishing.
Dan's
Yeah.
gonna be dead.
Oh my God. Jeez Louise. Here's what you'll be missing, though, Dan. Witcher, the Witcher 3 next gen is
Oh my
still
God.
planned for this year. The serious project, which is the Witcher project, is supposed to have multiplayer. The new Witcher trilogy will be released in a 6-year period. So 3 games in 6 years, plus whatever else they're working on. Canis Majoris will use Unreal Engine 3, and Canis Majoris, as a reminder, is the Witcher open world RPG. And
Unreal 3?
Unreal 5.
Oh, sorry, 5. I'm sorry.
I'm like, all right, this announcement just got even more baffling.
What is going on over there? My apologies. Unreal Engine 3, that's the open world Witcher game. It's going to be using Unreal
He
Engine.
did it again, bro.
Unreal Engine 5, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And Hatter.
We heard you guys loud and clear. We're gonna make a game that's less ambitious.
Project Hatter is in very early production. Apologies, guys. I'm sorry.
No shit,
but yeah.
CDPR.
Yeah, I feel like all of these are in early, right? My God, Christian.
Okay, now let's be positive for a second.
Okay, I'll try.
There are 2 that I'm actually kind of decently excited about. One is the new IP, Hadar, whatever that ends up being. Like, I don't know. CDPR like does really cool world building, so like the prospect of doing something new is always going to be exciting for me. Like, even if it's not going to be for me, just the fact that they're trying, just new IP in general, that's a dub for me. The second is the Witcher game Canis Majoris, which project name, I'm sure, developed by a third party. I wonder who that goes to and what that looks like. That could potentially be exciting.
I will say the prospect of multi, like, this is the problem, which is funny because you're hearing this from video game studios, so they should know the difference and they should be clarifying. But it's like, okay, multiplayer, I'm sure they mean co-op is what they mean. But I'm guessing you're not going to boot up The Witcher 4 and there's going to be deathmatch and capture the hill, right? So the idea of co-op is kind of intriguing. You know what I mean? Like hunting monsters with your friends. The only problem is that with the age that we live in, it's like, oh, it's multiplayer. Okay, so there's going to be a battle pass and there's going to be microtransactions. There's going to be this and there's going to be that. So, I mean, if they mean co-op, that's kind of cool, right? Because I don't know, a lot of single player games I think would benefit from, if they're able to without breaking it entirely, adding co-op. Like, that's the big irony with Fallout 76, is that a lot of people before Fallout 76 were like, oh, it'd be cool to explore the wasteland with my friend, meaning co-op, and then they made it an entirely multiplayer thing, and they're like, yeah, this is not what we want. Not it at all. But like, yeah, taking a buddy with you and hunting down different monsters and having to do like the research and all that stuff and find out where they are, like, that sounds fucking cool.
See?
We'll see.
Well,
you know what?
Some of us will see.
Right. Nice. Good callback. You're so funny and smart.
You know what's not cool? You know what's not funny? You know what's not smart? Phil. What's his name?
Harrison.
Phil Harrison. Yeah,
Oh, you're
he's
saying
not cool,
Phil
smart, or
Spencer.
any
I
of
was like,
them.
Dan's gonna get angry.
No. Phil Harrison of Google. Google is shutting down Stadia, everybody. Google is shutting down Stadia, its cloud gaming service. The service will remain live for players until January 18th, 2023. Google will be refunding all Stadia hardware purchased through the Google Store, as well as all the games and add-on content purchased from the Stadia Store. Google expects those refunds to be completed in mid-January. Quote, a few years ago, we also launched a consumer gaming service, Stadia. Stadia Vice President and GM Phil Harrison said in a blog post. And while Stadia's approach to streaming games for consumers was built on a strong technology foundation, it hasn't gained the traction with users that we expected. So we've made the difficult decision to begin winding down our Stadia streaming services, end quote. Employees on the Stadia team will be distributed to other parts of the company, which thank God. But yeah.
With that last key bit of information, I just want to say I'm happy that something failed at Google. I'm really happy. It makes me very happy.
This is not the first time.
I know it's childish, but like I fucking hate Google so much. So I get excited, especially again they moved everyone to different locations. Nobody lost their job. Fuck you, Google. I'm glad your stupid idea failed because nobody wanted this.
Well,
wait, no, hold on. I actually thought Stadia would have been really cool to use in like classroom learning. Like I'm not gonna get into the weeds of that, but I think like there are a handful of schools that use like a lot of like video game as tools for like different kinds of learning. And the biggest barrier to that is that they have to provide a bunch of like equipment for these kids to facilitate that kind of learning. And I thought that like cloud streaming actually would have been like a lot, like the barrier would have been a lot easier to access. Like that alone, I thought for that project could have been cool. But
can I make myself
a different take?
Can I make myself extremely clear right now? I want to make myself crystal clear. Fuck the children. Okay?
Oh God.
That's it. Right?
No,
okay.
You don't want that
clip.
Don't clip that. Yeah, don't clip that. But
also, I love that Phil Harrison's the one that's making this statement because he's literally the one that was on stage with Jeff Keighley, I think, E3 2019 or 2020, one of those. Well, not 2020 because that was canceled. 2019. Because he was on there and Jeff's like, well, I know there's a lot of concern online because Google likes to cancel stuff early before like they develop it. And Phil Harrison's like, no, that's not the case here. Google's really invested in that. And here Phil Harrison is announcing.
Please trust me, we're not going to cancel that, I promise you.
Yeah.
There is literally a website called killedbygoogle.com where you can see everything that Google has like shut down. And there's 274 things there, which will soon be 275, I'm pretty sure, unless they've already updated it. No, Google Stadia is there already.
Wow.
I'm sure some of those are fine and some of those are fair. Because like obviously, you know what I mean? But they definitely have the reputation of being like the EA of tech companies, where they just like, what's that? You're not performing exactly as we want you to. Goodbye. Now, in this case, don't get me wrong. They should have shut down Stadia because it was an awful idea. They shouldn't have done it in the first place. Hey, how would you like to not own video games, pay us a subscription, and then also buy the video game again? And
the subscription.
Fuck you.
The subscription was their downfall. Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the owning stuff in the story after this one, or the tidbit after this one. But something that was someone who was very affected by the shutdown, not the employees at Stadia, but the developers working on games for Stadia, found out the same way that we're finding out that. Just like in a blog post that the platform that we're supposed to be releasing a game on is no longer going to be a thing in a couple of months.
So Tom Vian, scummy thing to do.
Tangle Tower, which is a game by apparently Tom Vian on Twitter, says was due to launch on Stadia in 2 days' time, and this article is the way he found out that Stadia was shutting down. And Rebecca Heineman was releasing a game on November 1st, and this is how she heard about it. So there's a bunch of developers who are expecting to release games on this platform that will not exist in less than a year.
What do you do at that point? Just stop? Can you?
Right? Yeah.
Or are you like contractually obligated to like release this game? I don't know.
I'd be like, okay, Google, I heard you're doing refunds. You're gonna refund us the cost of development for your stupid fucking system. Like, there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse not to send out a heads up, right? Like, it's the same thing when when PlayStation was shutting down the Vita store. And some developers got a heads up and some developers didn't. Or not the Vita. Yeah, right? When they were ending support for Vita? Or am I making that up?
I don't remember this. I believe you, though.
There was something that happened last year that was big that PlayStation did, where they didn't tell developers.
Oh, I think it may have been when they shut down the store, or they're planning to shut down the PlayStation store on the Vita and PlayStation 3.
I think that's what it was, yeah. Yeah, because there are people still developing for the Vita.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah, but
There were
I
people
think,
still
at the
releasing
time.
games on the Vita.
Wow.
I think they went
They
back
might have
on that.
backpedaled.
Yes.
Yeah, they
They
did.
did.
They
Yeah,
did.
They did.
But some people found out like when at the same thing, like
Yeah.
when they announced it, and they're like, "What the fuck? We're in the middle of developing something for the Vita." And obviously, there's probably not that many people developing it for the Vita as opposed to Stadia, because Stadia is a new console. But same thing applies. It's like it costs you nothing to send out, to talk to your liaison, talk to your PR person, and be like, "Hey, all the studios that we're in bed with or that are publishing on our platform, maybe send them an email, give them a heads up."
But also affected not only developers but players of Google Stadia. Ubisoft, Bungie, and others are working on Stadia game transfers. After the unexpected shutdown on Google Stadia, developers from across industry are trying to help players by allowing them to transfer their game saves to other platforms. So, like Destiny, for example, losing all that gameplay hours would be devastating for anybody who's put in a lot of time into that. So hopefully they're able to transfer that stuff. Ubisoft is obviously working on probably some Assassin's Creed stuff, and IO is working on Hitman stuff, all saying that we're working on stuff. They haven't confirmed that they've found a solution yet, but they're all working on stuff. I saw something as well. A Red Dead player had over like 1,000 hours on Stadia in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Holy
Rockstar hasn't said anything about working on anything, and
I'm sure they won't either.
probably not going to.
So
That is just like so heartbreaking, dude. Like if they want to restart their save, they just lose everything. That's literally thousands of hours just lost.
I'm gonna be blunt here. It is and it isn't. If you are somebody who's maining a game, maybe don't do it on the cloud-based console that just came out a couple of years ago. Maybe don't make that your platform of choice.
It could be
Right?
his only option. It could be their only option.
I don't know about that, because you've got so if it's your only option, that means you're able to pay for the subscription, you're able to pay for high-speed internet. I don't believe that. I don't believe the Stadia is their only option. I don't know, unless I'm missing something here. Like you're putting 1,000 hours into Red Dead. I love that game to death, and I can't imagine putting 1,000 hours.
Online stuff too.
Yeah,
Like
let me tell you, Rashan, there's not much there.
No.
There's not much there. There's
Still.
maybe 100 hours of content if you really want to grind for it.
You're talking about
Still,
Halo
this-
Infinite?
No. Zing!
Oh my god.
Zing
Still,
Zhao.
I mean, a lot of people would say similar
fucking
stuff
handsome.
about Destiny. I think, like, why would you spend so much time playing that game? And I have come to that conclusion recently as well. But I know I would be devastated if somebody just took away all those hours from me if I couldn't get them back, even if it's like, yeah. No, that was pretty much the end of my thought.
I would never play Destiny again if I could
Right,
transfer
exactly.
my account. I just wouldn't.
Like, I feel bad. I feel bad in the same way that if my friend's like, hey, I kept all of my silver reserve in the trunk of my car and somebody broke into it in the middle of the night
Why
and
did you
stole
do
it. It's like, I'm upset that you lost all your silver, but why were you storing it in your fucking car? Like, that's kind of how I feel.
Moving on to our last Stadia story here. Google reportedly passed on a Stadia exclusive follow-up to Death Stranding. Hideo Kojima was reportedly working on a follow-up to Death Stranding that was meant to be exclusive title for Google Stadia. However, it apparently canceled due to its single-player nature. Huh. According
Google. This could have saved them, and I would have bought one.
Yes. This and many other things. I feel like there's a couple of other like things that they passed up on that just made no sense to pass up on, but they did. And they closed down their first party studios, and they lost Jade Raymond and a bunch of other people. I feel like the writing was on the wall for a while, but I don't know. It's just such weird decisions that they made throughout this whole thing.
It's
More
almost like
like
it's a
Google-
tech company trying to make video game decisions. It's
Right.
almost like exactly what it is. Sorry,
Back
you were
to
gonna
my
say a
joke.
pun. Yeah, you were gonna say a pun.
back to my
You hear it.
joke. Yeah, more like Google. Am I right?
Oh my god, dude, you're so fucking handsome, bro.
Yeah, we should kiss about it.
Honestly,
Oh my god. Moving
can we
into
say that? Is that legal everywhere down there? Can we say that or no? I honestly don't
not?
know how it works. Oh, hell yeah.
I'll risk it.
moving
for the
into
shared
fantasy draft check-in. I don't think anything came out this week, guys. But coming up soon is Scorn. That's this week for Christian. And
Next week, isn't it? The 14th?
the 14th. Oh, sorry. Yes, you're right. The 14th. That's next week Friday. Jesus.
I was trying to
And what
wrap
I'm
my
looking
head
at-
around why Christian was so fucking hyped about this game because it looks really dull. But of course, the game there, everything's made
Oh.
of flesh and squelches. That's Christian's all about it.
Mm.
Can I just
Yeah.
say, Gage, can you just freaking pick up some games? You know, your list
games.
is looking mighty.
It's not my
mighty
fault.
good.
Video game developers are bad at their jobs, and I have to do it for them. I'm joking. Everyone,
was-
please.
I was looking at the list though, in all seriousness, and there's a lot of good stuff still on there. Like, I wish I
There
had
is. I'm
picks.
gonna have to go bargain hunting for what I can do for my sloppy seconds. I mean, I'd much rather all the games I chose come out because they're bangers. But I mean, yeah, take the time you need and all that. But goddamn,
You should pick up Entropy Center.
I don't know. What did you just say?
That's a free one for you.
it's yeah. You should listen to him.
Was that all one word, or was that two? Did you say entropy center?
Yes.
We'll never know.
Okay, well, I will look it up.
All right. Moving into possibly, are we moving into this? PXN's best of? Are we announcing this right here, right now? Yep. Because I think we have a topic, right?
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Sorry, I was coughing still. I'm still choking from that water earlier.
Dan, I just want to get the okay that
Just
we're
swallow better.
announcing this right now.
You need to practice your swallowing skills,
Sure,
Dan.
sure.
Yes?
Are we all good with the topic?
Yes,
Yeah.
I already thought of a few.
Okay,
Okay.
great. So, PXN's best of for October is best. Best horror game. Sorry, that was supposed to be a lot more than it delivered there. Yes, best horror game is going to be our topic for October. Dan, how is this going to be split up this time? Is it going to be starting next week, Wednesday?
So today, God, I'm still dying.
Oh no.
Today we're announcing it, and then next week everyone will announce their individual picks, and then throughout the week that following week, the polls will go up for everyone's individual picks, and then we'll campaign for the winners the following week, and then we'll have the finals poll with all our finalists running against each other, and then the winner will be revealed on episode 163,
1, 2.
maybe.
We need to combine and make sure Dan doesn't win on this one.
Yes. Agreed.
You guys all pick one.
So what's the theme? What are we doing?
Best horror game.
Oh wow, we actually went with my idea. Look at that.
What do you guys got for me? Daniel,
Yo.
what do you got for me?
I have finally completed a video game. It's a miracle. The Last of Us Part 1. I've finished it, and I love that I actually got Christian's reference earlier because I just finished the game. If I hadn't, I would have forgotten that reference.
Mighty Thin Ice.
What reference?
Exactly.
You're on-
It's just,
you're on-
it's just a saying.
Ellen,
It's
you're on
just a
some-
saying.
No, Joel. He says
From the
"You're on-
middle of the game?
You're on mighty thin ice there, or something like that.
But
I feel
Christian just said that Nintendo was on thin ice, and like he said it was a reference, and I gave him that. But that's also just an extremely common saying.
Oh, well, I was picking up on it from Joel telling Ellie that when she's trying to ask about Sarah. So I picked up
That's where I
on
heard it for the first time.
Spoilers.
Oh, well, yeah, that was
Yeah,
vague.
Yeah, no, Joel and Ellie are at one point are not super friendly with each other. That's not a spoiler. He's immediately standoffish. Immediately, an hour into the game.
Yeah.
And what did you think about the upgrade, Tilu part?
Oh, it was definitely a great upgrade. I was definitely enjoying the upgrade. Don't get me wrong. I know I've complained about whether we need the upgrade or the
Hell yeah.
the upgrades viability, but the upgrade is definitely a very good upgrade. I had this discussion with Gage though, which I find fascinating. I started The Last of Us Part 2, spoiler alert, and I feel like The Last of Us Part 2 is a better looking game. Like, am I crazy in saying that than Part 1?
Part 2 feels better, plays better. Does it look better? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
I have to go
I
back
don't know.
to it.
Because
Yeah, but
it does have a 60 FPS mode on PS5, so it is boosted a little bit, but obviously the visual stuff is just how it was on PS4, but it's a beautiful game as well.
Hold the phone.
Hold the phone, what?
Last of Us Part 2 has a 60 FPS mode on PlayStation 5?
Yes, it does.
Ooh.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to, oh.
oh,
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to replay TLU part.
Yes.
Don't know.
So-
They'll remake it in a year from now.
Yeah.
That's actually a good point. And I'll buy it.
Oh,
Me.
so will I finish part 2 finally?
Yes.
We'll see.
I hope so. I really
see.
hope so.
I've-
You have to.
I've actually almost made it. So I started from scratch again rather than continuing where I left off.
Which I respect. I respect that.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've almost made it to the part where I quit the last time. And I think you guys know what I'm referring to. But
I don't. Tease it more. What is it?
golf. Let's go play golf.
Well done.
Yeah.
Everybody's
good.
golf. um, I'm gonna just go next since I got quite a bit here. I just wanted to shout out Steam Next Fest, which is going on right now until the 10th, and it's just a bunch of indie games, bunch of demos that you could play. A lot of games that we've seen on different shows, like Friends vs. Fiends. We saw that like at a Game Awards. That's available. I know a lot of us thought the gameplay and the art style looked really cool. So if you want to try that out, you can. Thirsty Suitors is on there. Gunbrella was another one that I thought we were excited for, and Scars Above, which is another freaking. Remember when all those sci-fi survivor horror games were showing up at the Game Awards? I'm pretty sure this is one of them. But this one looks kind of cool too. And a bunch of other games that I didn't know about, but now are absolutely on the list, like Potionomics, Witch Knight, Venice 2089, Volcano Princess, and one that was actually on my list before, but Wavetale is at the Steam Next Fest as well. So if you're looking for a new indie game, just open up Steam, play some demos, and you will definitely find at least one that you're.
Venice 2089, gang.
Yeah. Oh, you played it?
No, but it's been on my list for since it got announced.
Sweet. Okay, that's good to know. I'm excited. I just saw the art style. I was like, oh yeah, I want to try this. But now that I know that's on your list, then I'm definitely going to try it out. But the games that I have been playing, I played Bayonetta 1, still on the first one. I got a little bit further Christian. I had my third boss fight with Jean, and that was incredible. That was so cool.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It is a good one. But I think I'm reaching the conclusion here. It's interesting to see the character Cereza, which I think I know who they really are. But seeing Bayonetta 3 and seeing the same like hairstyle now, like, this is. I wish I didn't know that, but it's kind of obvious as soon as a character was introduced. But yeah, really liking Bayonetta a lot. Excited to dive into the second one once I finish this one. Splatoon 3, still a blast. Having a great time with it. And Cyberpunk 2077, I'm about 8 hours in now. I've seen, for those who play the game, this will make a bit more sense. I don't want to spoil anything. But Ab and Smasher, I've seen them twice. Johnny Silverhand has been introduced, and the Relic chip has been inserted into my head. So anybody who's played Cyberpunk, you know what I'm talking about, because saying you're 8 hours into this game doesn't really mean anything. You could be doing jack shit in those 8 hours. But yeah, just to let you know where I am in the story. But yeah, I love the more cinematic missions. Night City actually feels like really lived in. Like I think they did a really good job. Like the NPCs and the characters feel like they actually are living their lives and not just like props in the environment, which I think. And maybe Christian, you feel different.
Hard
Really?
disagree. Yeah, I think like visually, it's impressive. It's so dense. You can see them going about their day, and you get closer, and it's like the illusion is shattered. These dudes are like barely existing. They're just fucking plastic, just moving around.
There.
Don't listen to Christian. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, Roshan.
That's
Go
also
back to
true,
what you were
bro.
saying.
Wow.
I think maybe out of the games that I played, I think this is the most impressive that I've seen. And again, I haven't played a lot of open world games. They're not usually my cup of tea. So I was just really impressed by Night City. And
I'm
Judy is
inclined
awesome.
to agree with Roshan.
Thank you. And Judy is awesome. I like Judy a lot. And Season, which is a game that has been on a lot of our lists, is at Steam Next Fest, and I played the demo and I liked it a lot. So I'm excited for the full release. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Christian, take it away.
As always, more Rocket League. I've been getting really into 3v3 tournaments. So they do 2 tournaments per like category a day. Like at this certain time you can do a 1v1 tournament, at this certain time 2v2s, at this certain time 3v3. So every night at 9 p.m. Pacific, I'm logging on to do my tournament with my friends. And last night was the closest we ever got, man. It was the finals. It's a best of 3, and we were in game 3, and it went into overtime, and we ended up losing in overtime. Like victory was right there, dude. We almost scored a goal, and then the ball went back to our side, and then we ended up whatever. I don't want to talk about it. It was a very rough night last night. But I've also been playing a game from the PS4 era from Team Eco. It is The Last Guardian. Let me tell you, one of the most beautiful and also the most frustrating games I've ever played. And I think obviously people have talked about the frustration with that fucking dog bird Trico. But I love that thing to death. Like, even when I'm fucking pissed off that it won't listen to my like things I'm telling it to do, I still love them. I'm not done with the game yet, but it's been a beautiful journey. Like, what, 6-7 hours in? I'm enjoying myself.
Heck yeah. Gage, what you got for us?
I got an exciting update, boys.
Oh,
I managed to find in the wild a PlayStation 5. I've rounded out the podcast. I think I was the last one without one. And it's cool. It's so I actually know I like it a lot because
UI?
I like the UI. I know I'm crazy. I like the UI. I like it a lot more than Xbox. That's what I was coming to say. I know, Dan. I'm sorry, I don't like tiles covering everything everywhere all at once. It's fucking annoying.
The guide menu is what I like better.
Oh, the guide menu's
Yes.
way better. That's leagues above. But I like the PS5. I'm getting it, and I'm like, because I have the Series X, I was able to snag the Halo limited edition one. Shout out to my old GameStop location that hooked me up with that. Definitely broke some rules to get me that. Hell yeah. But like having both of them side by side, it's cool to see like what one does over the other. Where it's like I really like the UI, and the store has always been superior on PlayStation. But then you have things like where Xbox is like the quick resume feature. Like that's still super cool, and it's crazy that PlayStation doesn't have something like that. But at the same time, I don't know. They just each have their own differences. But sticking around with the PlayStation, go ahead.
I gotta say, as a long-term PlayStation user, the store fucking sucks. I think Dan made a face too. That store is terrible.
Well, and to be
Listen.
fair, the Xbox store used to be absolute dog shit as well, but the new store that they've put out, I think, is pretty good. Gage, do you?
So, no, I agree with you, and that's why in my head I was like, "Do I mention that?" Because it wasn't until it feels like a year ago that you could actually add things to cart in
Yes.
Xbox. You know what I mean? Like that was my big
Yeah.
thing.
Oh my
with
God.
PlayStation.
Yes.
That's a new feature. So like wish lists and all that stuff, like PlayStation had that well ahead of
Yes.
Xbox. So that's what I meant when I said that. But yeah, you're right.
Gotcha.
That gap has closed recently. You're right. So that's fair. But yeah, so I picked up immediately The Last of Us Part 1. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Obviously, I'm the vice president of the Last of Us fandom. And the game is incredible. The game, like Naughty Dog is just one of those studios. I don't get it because I'm playing it and I'm playing the cutscene. And then the game starts and I'm like, oh, this is still the cutscene model of Joel. Nothing's changed. Whereas when you play the old one, because I played it a million times, like there was that huge difference. Like you could tell the in-game cinematics looked very different from the pre-rendered ones. Whereas like I find myself stopping in like different lighting areas and just like panning the camera around Joel. I'm like, this is literally the fucking cutscene model. Like this is nuts to me. How did they do this? Oh my God, the game is so good. And you know what? I just want to say for the millionth time, people that say the gameplay isn't there and that it's just the story that's good,
They're wrong.
They're so fucking wrong. I'm playing this and I'm like, this is just a survival horror game. Like this is like Resident Evil. That's what this game is. And why does one get like nobody like it doesn't make any sense to me. The first game is a 10 out of 10. I don't give a shit what anybody says. It is fantastic.
You tell them.
I will. On behalf of the president of Last of Us fandom, I'm going to say that this is a 10 out of 10. Yes.
Well, before you move on to your next thing, I want to say you should play Astrobot, the one that's built in. And
Can I-
give
can
your
I-
thoughts on it.
Astro's
Can I
Playroom.
finish? Can I finish, Christian?
Thank you,
Oh.
Dan.
You're
All right.
welcome.
Okay, what else have I been playing, Rashan? Thanks for asking. I've been playing Astro's Playroom. You fucking piece of shit.
I was going off the dock. You're right.
I don't
That's-
even want to talk about it now because you told me to talk about it. That's how much my ODD kicks in. No, it's cool. The haptics are nuts, and it's one of those things where you really can't experience it until you try it because you hear everybody talking about the haptics. You're like, oh, it's vibration. How cool can it be? But like walking around in the sand with the ever so slight little, and then I was talking to Dan about this. There's a point where you're running because there's a bunch of little missions you can do, and it's kind of cool. Like it takes you down memory lane and it shows you can the hidden collectibles in this game is like old pieces of PlayStation tech, like the first DualShock and all this kind of cool stuff. But there's a point where you're running and a fan blows you from like one of the directions, just trying to blow you off the platform. And I instinctively gripped my controller tighter because of the haptics that were going on. Like it took me a second to realize, like, okay, no, that's just stupid. But they are able to do something just from having that left, right, front, back, side to side sort of motors that they have going on. It's kind of cool. Like I caught myself. I was like, why am I gripping the controller tighter? It's cool. Yeah, the haptics are cool. So playing Last of Us, playing Astro Boy. I want to say there's one more thing I re-downloaded.
Astro
What is
Boy.
it? Astrobot, whatever the fuck.
Astro's Playroom.
Yes. I feel like there was one more thing I re-downloaded Spider-Man. And because I own it for free. I was thinking about buying it on PC, but I'll probably just play it there now. But yeah, Last of Us Part 1 is absolutely fucking incredible. I'm about halfway through it. No, I just got to the university, so a little over 60% the way through.
Yeah.
And absolutely incredible. Yeah, the new cinematics do. I feel like I'm almost agreeing with Dan a little bit, where I don't know if they're hitting harder, they're just hitting different.
I never said harder. I said different. And I
You
say
said
it every
harder.
time.
You said it harder with a
No!
capital H.
Dan even apologized to me when he's like, "No, I'm sorry."
Dan, don't ever apologize to Christian. First of all, second of all,
I had to apologize to Christian last week because
Words in my mouth.
I
Anyways,
didn't read the article, or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was.
I think that was 2 weeks ago because I was listening and I was like, "You fucking get him, Christian." Yeah, Last of Us is
Last of
fucking
Us.
amazing. Last of Us is epic, and it looks gorgeous. And I can't believe that I'm playing a cutscene the entire time. It's nuts. And the lighting, Christian, you're absolutely right, man. The lighting. Oh my god, the light peeking in through the doors and like the literal particle effects is just nuts.
Yeah. Dan can't see him.
No, I can't. I know.
I
Keeps
can't.
the lights too bright.
I can see. I
Actually,
can
I'm
see
sorry.
them.
Before we move on, I'm sorry. One last thing about this bad boy. I don't know. I stopped for a second. Ratchet and Clank. I think of all the things the vibration does that like actually blew my mind. Every single I think I mentioned this on the pod before. I just like saying it. When you like are like readying your gun in Ratchet and Clank to like aim, they're like different obviously vibrations, but like the vibrations themselves produce a sound for like that's happening in the game, but you don't hear it in game. You hear it from the controller. So you're hearing your gun through the vibrations, and some of them are like pretty insane. Like one of them sounds like music. Like how are they doing this through vibrations? I don't understand.
Right.
I can't wait to try that game. But we are going to talk a little bit more about Sony. We're talking about Sony's future plans for PlayStation as a topic of the show.
Nice.
So here we are for topic of the show. Herman Hulst did a little bit of an interview with Axios, and that's where we're getting most of our information for the first story here. Dan, I found Nebellion's tweet, their thread.
Oh, okay.
I think I'm going to go and use that one. Just let me know if I missed anything.
There's more stuff too, but we can fill in as we go.
Okay. I just like the format that he used here. It's a lot easier to read. So I'm just going to go with that for now, and you guys just help me along the way if I miss anything. New interview with Herman Hulst. The live service games will come from newly acquired teams and Sony's internal teams too. Not all of them will be original IPs. What's this? Single player titles. Yeah, single player titles. Still the most profitable ones. More cross-gen titles could come case by case. I think he also said that the live service games are going to be launching first to PC, day one, I should say, as opposed to the first party games that are going to be coming to PC a year later, is what he said. So there's a little bit of a gap, and at least we have a time frame. I think, Gage, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. At least we have a time frame. Unfortunately, that time frame is still pretty long, not as short as we were hoping, but at least we got a time frame on that. Yes, and as we were just discussing, Hulst mentions that the PC versions actually help PlayStation to invest more into their projects. It allows us to continue to invest even deeper into their projects. PlayStation will also improve its mobile game development and partner up with other companies. I'll stop there for now. Yeah, Christian.
First of all, when I first shared like this in the chat, I wrote L Sony and didn't elaborate. But by this, I mean like, if you look at the numbers that have been shared in the past like month or so, every time Sony releases a game on PC, like that game will chart again, even though it's an older game. The PC audience is fucking massive. It is
Mhm.
huge. People are buying these games. I think limiting. I get that Sony wants people to buy their consoles, right? Like that's why the time frame is there. A year just feels too long. Like I would say if it's 3 months, that's maybe like better, I guess. Like day and date is the dream, I think, for like look at Xbox. They're day and date. Like those barriers have been removed. A year is just too far out for like the industry that we're in now, in my opinion. And that sucks.
I think like exactly what you said with the they want to sell consoles, and I feel like the most recent example I think is like what is it? What was Deathloop? Was the game that came to Xbox as well? Xbox and
Yes.
PC
A
recently.
year later, yeah.
A year later, and I don't know if the conversation really sparked back up for that one. Again, that's another game that wasn't like super hype on arrival in the first place, so that's kind of
I think Deathloop
another.
The game of the year
launched-
contender.
I think
Oh, really?
Deathloop
Okay.
launched with PC
yeah.
as well. I think it was PlayStation
Right.
and PC.
So it came to Xbox a year later. But there's another example, like Tomb Raider for past gen was on
Right.
Xbox, and then it came to PlayStation 8 months, I want to say, or maybe a year later. Yeah, there's a lot of examples where I think it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But I feel like PlayStation's going to be okay with this for sure. It sucks for us, but I think most of the time it's going to boost their sales. Everybody's going to be talking about it for a little bit, so they don't have to worry about it, and they're going to sell PlayStations because of it. As much as I wanted day and date as well, I don't think they're going to see something drastic happen to the sales that they're going to shift their position on this, unfortunately.
Right. I think they're not willing to take the risk on day and date, but I think we're all in.
Sure.
Like, I think we all agree that, like, Sony doesn't realize that. Like, I don't think it would affect sales that much. Like we've talked about before, there is some overlap. Sure, there's people like myself who own a PC, like a gaming PC, a PS5, and an Xbox, but a lot of people have one console, and especially when it would be one thing if it was PC, like a PC only developer deciding on whether or not to bring their games to console day and date. You might lose that on sales, but like when it's the other way around, the barrier to entry is so much higher for PC. I really don't think that you're gonna have people jumping ship from your console to get a PC just because the option's there. Like, again, kids aren't gonna like ask their mom like, "Hey, I know I wanted that $500 console, but instead can I have a $1,500 PC because the game's there as well." Like, I really don't think it'll affect their sales, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, PlayStation wants to make that money. They want that gap to be long enough that they get that second wind, and it's unfortunate. It's what it's gonna be, but
Yeah, I agree with you, Gage. Like I don't feel like the overlap is as much as people think that it is, because consoles are catered to the people that want to have a cheaper experience, like a TV experience, and like a $500 Xbox Series X can do far more and far better performance on games than you could buy a $500 PC for.
Absolutely.
So like that's the key that Sony has to realize. Like, we're losing out on an entire market share of people that aren't going to overlap with our sales of our PlayStation. And Xbox is literally selling more Xboxes than they've sold in the history of their existence, so it's not affecting Microsoft negatively right now.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
The thing for me too is like Xbox putting their games day and date with PC has made me feel like I am part of the Xbox ecosystem because I am engaging with the games that they're putting out, right? Like I'm excited for Score, and and I think of that as an Xbox game, even though I'm playing it on PC. Like I think like PlayStation could benefit, honestly. Like even if it isn't day and date, like I said, like if it's just a few months out, like that's closer to where I think the dream is. But like I don't know. Sorry, Gage, I interrupted you and I'm losing my own train of thought, so please go ahead.
No, I interrupted you interrupting me. It's fine. No, it's just, it sucks because whenever we're talking about this, and we're trying to understand what their logic is, like we have to think less like people who play games, which just goes to show you like why exactly they do what they do, right? It's entirely business oriented, even when it's not like like Dan said, like the overlap is not as big as they think it is. Like if they wait a year and let's say they get double, they get 100% plus 100% revenue from waiting a year. If they released it day and date, like I genuinely think it'd be like 95 or 90%. Like they would miss out on some sales. Sure, there'd be a small subset of people who'd be like, oh, cool, I'll get it for PC instead. But like, not at all what they're thinking. Not at all what they're thinking. Right? Very small amount of people that have both that would want to get it. Because here's the thing: like even people that are aware of the differences and the benefits to PC gaming. Some people just don't want to deal with it. Like some people are just like, yeah, I know PC gaming, like you can do this, that, and the other with it, but I'd just rather play it on console. And like, so even from that small subset of people that they might buy it on PC, there's going to be people that have both that are still going to want it on PlayStation. So we're talking about such a small percentage, but like it's Sony, like they've got their minds made up. I don't think this is going to change anytime soon. Unfortunately, I'm very excited to hear that their live service games are coming day and date. Or did I jump ahead?
Yeah, that is a win. No, I think Ro mentioned it as well.
Okay.
That is at least nice.
That is nice because that also goes to tell me that like, okay, you guys are committed to the health of your player base, because that is an easy way to, double the size, triple the size of your player base. If like say The Last of Us Factions, right? If that comes out on just PlayStation, sure, that's going to be great. But now knowing that because it's probably a live service game, I think it's safe to say that it's going to be that.
Yeah.
Like that's exciting for me. Now I know, cool, I can get in on that day one on PC.
I could see that being an exception to the rule, though.
Really? You think
Because
so?
of the Last of Us branding?
Yeah. They're just like, no, we want to keep this one for a year, just because it's The Last of Us.
That one's so tough though, because also maybe do they want if they want it to hit, then they don't do that. But I could like that's tough because I can see logic for both arguments. I fucking hope not. I'm gonna be very upset if that's what they do.
The thing is, like, does Naughty Dog want to make it a live service game, right? Is the thing.
I don't know. It seems like, again, I bring this up all the time, but this was supposed to launch with The Last of Us, and it's going to be like 3 or 4 years. So it's like they already had whatever they developed it, and then it's going to be 3 or 4. Like this game's huge, whatever it is. So I don't know. I think like, and this is the thing, like we think of live service negatively because we should, because most of them are negative, but. Maybe like it seems like this one came about organically. Like they were making a multiplayer game, and then the studio themselves decided, you know what, we're onto something. We need to make this bigger. We need to make this better.
It's the same way the Lost Legacy game like came about. Like it was supposed to be DLC, and then like they just got really excited about the project. They're like, let's just make it like a bigger scale thing, which is always exciting for a team. Like a team is excited about a project that they want to make it bigger, and the Sony's like, fuck yeah, dude, do it. We'll back you. We'll give you some money to like make it a big project, and we'll support you. Like that stuff is exciting,
right? Like everybody loves Lost Legacy.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not worried about this. Like I think it is live service, and normally I would be worried, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like Naughty Dog has yet to have a huge misstep, and even the misstep that they did have, which is this remake, I don't think it was decided by them because it was started by another studio and they took over. So to me, Naughty Dog hasn't done any wrong yet, right? So I am hopeful for this. I think this is gonna be big, and I'm very happy to know that it's coming day and date.
They've done no wrong. What about
Dan? They've done no wrong.
What about 2 hours into The Last of Us Part 2?
Finish the game.
Anywho,
Dan, get over it. You're already playing it again.
Just to circle back.
How did you feel about the ending of the first season of Game of Thrones? How did you feel about the ending of the first season of Game of Thrones? It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I've explained. No, I've explained why it's not the same thing, because that occurs.
You can't say that you haven't beat the game yet.
That occurs at
the whole thing through.
Anywho, all right.
I get what he's saying.
Yes,
I remember now.
Okay, circling back real quick to something you said, Gage.
I don't agree.
Something you said about Sony being concerned about selling more on PC versus, waiting a year or whatever. I feel like they would actually sell more by releasing day and date, because you'd have more PC players that would be playing the game and sharing with their other PC friends like, hey, this game's awesome, pick it up. So like you would have a whole year in which you're spreading, the fan base out to get more people to buy the game. I feel like that would benefit Sony, but I don't know.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I don't know so much about that exact reasoning, but also the hype factor, right? Like there's always going to be initial sales, right? You're always going to have that initial sales boost, especially if it's a PlayStation game that looks polished, because that's one of the things I brought up when they started porting their games is like, I was playing Days Gone and I was having fun with it. I know some people don't like it. That's fine. People can be wrong. But I was playing and I was like, man, like I play PC exclusive games. Don't get me wrong. A lot of them do things that consoles can't. A lot of them.
Tarkov.
Tarkov. A lot of that stuff is behind the scenes though. It's like processing power. Like I'm playing Days Gone and I'm like, shit, like there's no PC exclusive that looks this good. Like Spider-Man Remastered, there's no PC exclusive that looks this good. So like PlayStation does have something to offer the PC market. And I think like if they release them at the same time, like Dan's saying, like even just the hype factor alone of watching these trailers and be like, holy fuck, look at that game. It's coming to PC as well. Like, hell yeah, I'm gonna pick that up. And like Dan's saying, word of mouth, it'll just spread like wildfire. But none of that matters because Jim has said no.
Oh, I got stuff to say about him on the next stuff.
Hell yeah.
Fuck, I hate that guy now.
Before we move on to the FromSoft stuff, I did want to say they do also for the live service stuff. They have 12 greenlight projects in the works right now, so that's quite a bit. But
Jade Raymond's game, one of those, right? If I remember right.
Right, yeah.
Jade Raymond's one.
Possibly.
That's No Moon is another studio that's working on one.
Yep. Exciting
could be cool.
stuff. Exciting stuff. Oops, I clicked on Nibelion's name instead of clicking on... There we go, sorry. Herman Hulst comments on Sony's recent investment in From Software, explaining that their collaboration could go beyond game development and that they might explore possible opportunities for PlayStation production. Uh-oh. PlayStation eyes mobile for PC and mobile push, right? Like that's the gross part, because they might be working on a mobile
PlayStation
stuff?
Productions. Is that
the movies and stuff,
TV and stuff?
Yeah.
I actually had a friend rein me in a little bit today, and he was like, "Well, who's to say like they don't do like a cool like anime stuff?" Which I don't know. Would they do that? I'm not sure. Would I watch it? Absolutely. The only like silver lining in this is that like, if whatever production they put out hits and it is awesome, that would drive Sony to incentivize them to make more stuff to like. Hey, From Software, can you make Bloodborne too? And like that would be a win for us. But like as of right now, I'm not gonna mention the other stuff they're gonna bring up soon. But like when we're getting remasters and remakes for stuff that we don't need, hint for what's coming up next, and when people are asking, hey, we don't even want to remake a Bloodborne or a remaster even, just can you update the code so that we can get a 60 FPS version going? And Sony's like, what is Bloodborne? That is where we have, like, you invest so much money into From Software, you think they're gonna support them to make cool shit, and it's like, nah, we just want to put out a fucking Amazon Prime TV show that's like whatever. It's saddening to me. Bro,
Yeah, but
as
think
a
of
From Software fan.
But think of the maidens though.
True.
I mean, hell yeah, but like at the same time, I don't know.
But as we're talking about this next story, that the Amazon show could lead to them supporting the game more. Because there's a rumor that Horizon Zero Dawn and multiplayer game are in development. Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster is said to feature improved lighting, textures, animations, models, and accessibility options. The multiplayer game is for PS5 and PC, obviously a year later, may feature a form of co-op. Sounds kind of cool. But let's start off with the big one, the Horizon Zero Dawn remake/remaster. That's soon. Maybe a little soon. I think a big thing to bring up is that there's a Horizon show coming out fairly soon, and similar to The Last of Us Part 1, maybe it's to hook the people that watch the show to go and play the best possible version of this game after you watch the show, to get more people into your PlayStation ecosystem. But people were not thinking about that when they saw this news story, for sure, which is understandable.
There was one. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, if you have a thought, go for it.
No, it's not a thought. There was. I want to say that there was one person on Twitter. I can't find. I should have shared it. Who said that they didn't hear that this was actually true,
okay.
and that it's incorrect. So a grain of salt.
Right.
My thought is it's probably is true. Sorry, Gage. Go ahead.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I was going to ask what you thought of the announcement, or the rumor of the remake and the remaster
Of Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah.
Fucking
Do you think it's too
stupid.
soon? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Horizon Zero Dawn looks great. The game, like I don't know, like it was catchy to hate on Naughty Dog, and again, I don't think it was Naughty Dog's decision, because originally it was another studio that was doing it. But whoever, like, it was easy to hate on the idea of The Last of Us Part 1 because we had already gotten a remaster. But when you really sit back and think about it, it's like, okay, the game came out in 2013 and the remaster came out in 2014. So it's not like it came out yesterday, right? It was just because it was an end of a console life cycle, so it was easy to hate on them. But like, I get it. There's like Horizon came in 2017. Like, why? I don't know. And like Christian said, there's so much more. There are so many things that should be on the priority list above this. Like, again, a simple 60 FPS patch for fucking Bloodborne is so, I don't know. Yeah, it's very strange. I don't know. A lot of these decisions that are being made there, as we've talked about at length during this episode, it's like, man, in order to understand these, I have to completely remove the gamer part of my brain and just look at it as purely money. And then sometimes even then it still doesn't make sense. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's dumb.
Just fucking, if there is no like FPS boost, work on that. For like a remastered version, and fucking make it free. Yep. Make it fucking put on the PlayStation Plus service. There you go. There you get money there if people are interested in buying that, and then they go buy Forbidden West because they like the Horizon series now.
And like my problem is like I feel like Sony's not investing in game preservation and back catalog stuff, because like you have features on Xbox where you can literally play an Xbox 360 game. You can play tons of Xbox 360 games that have FPS boost, where you can play at 60 frames per second when the game didn't launch with that. Like
Midnight Club?
Yeah, like there's tons of examples. Yeah, exactly. And
A3?
It's insane to me that Sony hasn't invested in that more so, because if they invested in those types of things, we wouldn't need these remasters and remakes necessarily. Now,
but how would they make their money, Dan?
Yeah, fair point. Yeah,
I will not buy this. I will not support this at all.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. Like, I'm trying to, like, as Gage was saying, trying to think of it as not a gamer, not a PlayStation player. Like, if I was watching Horizon Zero Dawn, the Amazon Prime show for the first time, and I really liked it, and I so happen to have a PS5, which is crazy in and of itself, but I have a PS5. I watched the Amazon show. I was like, damn, I really want to play that game, and there is a better version of the 2017 game available. Yeah, I would buy it. But how many people, I mean, in this situation, I wouldn't buy it. Yeah. I wouldn't buy it. Like me, Rashan, played the 2017 game. When I watch this, I might play the game again. I'm not rebuying this game. But yeah, as someone who has never played it, I'm sure they would love to have the best possible version of this game to play, not having any history with PlayStation, any history with this Horizon Zero Dawn thing. It's like, yeah, this was made for me, because it is made for that particular person.
Does that particular person exist though?
Because there's got to be somebody who hasn't played that game and that's going to watch.
No, but
Horizon.
Here's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. Because you're watching the Amazon show,
right?
And you have a PlayStation 5, and you haven't played the game yet, or equally fucking absurd is you're watching the Amazon show and you don't have a PlayStation 5. I enjoyed this show so much that instead of waiting for season 2, I'm gonna go buy a $700 console and a $79.99 game, or whatever the fuck it is in American. And like, I don't know. I don't understand. I don't get it. Oh, Rashan's frozen on my screen.
Yeah, he's freaking out.
He is. That's amazing. I want to clip this. I want to take a screenshot of this.
I just hope to God that the game doesn't cost $70. Like, they're gonna be.
Oh, it will.
Oh God, that's just asinine. Like, I just don't understand that. And I said, of course, many of us, all of us, I think, said that The Last of Us Part 1 probably shouldn't have been a $70 game for people who already, bought the previous games. I'm fine with The Last of Us Part 1 being a $70 game to new people, but like, I still feel like they should have had some kind of upgrade path there for people who already supported that game multiple times.
Right.
I'm sorry, Dan. I looked down as I see Ro charging up his little frozen state. I agree, though.
Yeah. As we work on getting Ro back here, I hope this isn't the beginning of something new for Sony, that they continue to do this with other stuff. Like, 5 years is nothing. Like, let's not keep making this a trend and, releasing. We're going to get God of War remastered the year after this then, right? Like,
yeah.
That would be terrible. But the only good news here is that, like, they are working on a multiplayer game, if that's live service. Like, that is cool, having like a first party Monster Hunter like. I would go so far as to say, like, that experience might even end up being better than like the single player version. And my biggest issue with Horizon is that those games aren't very memorable after you finish them. And it might be more fun just to hop in like a Robo Dino world with a friend. I don't know.
I'm assuming Ro's laptop crashed because he has left the Discord here, which is okay. And we can pivot and just keep rolling here while we wait for him. What else do we have here? Do we want to move on or do we want to wait?
Yeah,
or what do you want to do?
We can move on.
Okay.
Dan, do you need to change scenes? I can pick up.
Oh yes, I do need to change scenes.
Here, you change scenes. I'll this next one.
Okay.
Sony. Oh,
He's back.
whoa.
Oh,
You're
Sorry.
you're
I didn't like
listening
that
to
at all.
podcast.
Yeah.
I didn't like saying it.
You did.
Internet just cut out for a second there.
Are you with
Sorry about
Rogers?
that. Yep. That's correct.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Gosh, since I mean they were terrible before, but since that nationwide outage, it's just somehow been worse.
Yeah, that's what I've thought too.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, I am in Rogers. Probably not for much longer. But yeah, sorry, I obviously missed everything you said. Gage, you were telling me why my analogy didn't make sense, which I knew it didn't. You didn't have, okay, I didn't know, but yeah,
I don't remember what I was saying, but it was probably
You're
something really intelligent. And
it was. It was honestly. It
I don't
was.
even remember the analogy.
It was not
Oh,
an analogy, but
somebody-
an
somebody-
example. Sorry.
somebody buying
Yeah.
like if
Oh.
they didn't have a PS5, right? Somebody's not going to watch the
yeah.
show and be like, "Oh, this is really great. Let me go out and spend $700 on a machine because I really like the show." It's just not a thing.
Then who is this for?
That's the thing, Rashannon. Nobody.
We
It
don't
doesn't
know,
make
we don't know.
sense.
It's
Bro.
for Jim Ryan.
It's for Jimmy.
Bro, you have to go back after this and watch your Frozen reaction when you got kicked out.
It's amazing.
It's great.
It could not have frozen at a better time.
You were going Super Saiyan.
I guess we could move on to the next story, unless you guys did. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to the next story. Sony betting big on the next VR headset with increased production plan. Wow, this Bloomberg website just I can't read anything.
Oh
Just everything
Jesus.
is-
Yeah, that's my fault. I did
No,
not
it's okay.
realize that.
That's okay. That's no problem. But we saw that they're releasing 2 million. It must be more than that.
They're,
How many headsets was it? 23 million.
They're building
No.
2 million by March of 2023.
Right. So yeah, they're expecting this to be a big seller, right? That's a lot of units.
That is, in
So-
fact, a lot of units.
There's also an implicit story in here that one would gather that if they're having no supply issues with PSVR 2, that there seemingly might not be as many issues getting more PS5 consoles as well, or any other just hardware in the video games industry.
Oh no, we
What a
lost Ro again.
Oh, we did.
But anyways,
Poor guy.
continue.
I mean, that was it. Like, if
Oh, okay.
also, like, when are we seeing this thing? Is there going to be a showcase? Probably not this year. So I'm probably like a VR focused state of play sometime in late fall, November-ish, early
Who
December.
knows? Who knows what they're doing?
Yeah, who knows?
We need
I will
price.
say though, yeah, I'm gonna fucking buy it. I don't give a shit anymore. I'm just gonna get it. Oh, Rogue can still hear us.
Oh.
It better not be expensive though. Is my issue.
It
And it
better
will
not.
be.
Or what? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Pray that I can get it at Best Buy with like Afterpay, where I pay 4 payments or whatever. Like, please.
He's
You know,
gonna
yeah, fuck it. Why
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
he's
yeah.
gonna hunt down Jim Ryan.
I won't do that. No.
No.
Don't say I'm doing any kind of threat to
I'm
anybody.
sorry. No. I'm sorry. Apologies. He's gonna make out with Jim Ryan.
Yeah, he wishes. Rose back. Okay.
I'm back. I'm sorry about that. I was still here. I could hear you guys, but my camera froze and I couldn't say anything.
Oh,
It was really weird. I never lost internet connection in that though, but something is wrong, obviously. Anyways, moving on to another rumor for the PlayStation VR. After lengthy negotiations, Sony has bought the rights to publish Half-Life Alyx on PSVR 2 in 2023. Emoji fire. Hashtag PSVR 2. Hashtag PSVR. Yeah, a very critically acclaimed game coming to PSVR 2. Exciting. Hopefully coming.
That would be huge. That would be huge.
Obviously,
Especially especially considering that we don't have a library of PSVR 1 games. Like we're very much contingent on whatever is at launch with PSVR 2. Having a game like Half-Life Alyx, which is a huge game, critically
Yeah.
acclaimed for sure, would be great to have people who have never played this game, myself included, try it out on some like cutting edge technology. So
Not only is it a great game, it's a technologically like it's a marvel. Like this is the future VR. Christian, you can play it by the way with Quest. I don't know.
I haven't yet, and then I saw this rumor and I was like, well, I'm just
Might as
gonna
well wait for it for sure. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but it's incredible.
I want the finger tracking.
And the final story to round out this topic of the show, we could maybe theorize a little bit here with the future of PlayStation. Gamatsu reports that there is a document with several announced and unannounced SIE titles, including the Horizon Zero Dawn multiplayer game that we briefly touched upon earlier, and possibly some more leaks to come. I was thinking that like there's not a lot that we know about PlayStation's future right now. God of War Ragnarok and beyond that is kind of a mystery. So maybe they are ramping up to announce some stuff, whether it's leaked or not. We shall see. Christian,
I saw this document, this supposed document. It's I don't know how old it is. It seems pretty old because you had like on the top of there Horizon 2 was on that list of like games that are soon to come, which is already out. And a lot of the other games are just like projects that have already been announced. So I don't know how much validity this has. I'm trying to find the doc as we speak.
While Christian is looking for the doc, I do have a quick question about Horizon multiplayer. Does that excite anybody? Is that like a cool idea? I think that sounds kind of cool, like a Monster Hunter co-op experience in that universe. That sounds pretty cool. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
A Destiny-like, Horizon, you might be in on that, Ro. Hunt
Sweet.
down some mechanical dinos with friends on strikes and
I love hunting innocent wild creatures with my friends.
Who said they were innocent?
Yeah, they're. Oh, Christian.
Found it. Just on this document, Horizon 2, Horizon 2 DLC and support, Horizon PS5 remaster, which is where we got that, Horizon Online, Horizon VR, which we know about.
Yeah.
Heartbreak from Fire Sprite, Sackboy from Sumo, whatever that means. I mean, we got Sackboy's Big Adventure, and then Destruction All Stars, which already came out. Carbon from Sumo, Red Star from Lucid, Returnal from Housemarque. Presumably, this is
PC port.
maybe the PC. Yeah. Rise of the Ronin, which we already got that as well. Ocean from Kojima Productions, which this is interesting. Whatever that is, it sounds like a project name. Ballistic Moonbaits, I don't know. And then Camden from London, Studio London. Project name as well, probably. But that's a games as a service.
Could have been maybe one of the 12 that Mr. Jim was talking about. Or Herman, sorry.
Where's our Uncharted 5?
I don't know.
Uncharted 5. Where we take
I mean, who's making Uncharted 5 is the bigger question.
That's fair, yeah. I still feel like that ending of Uncharted 4 just leaves so much cool stuff they could do with Uncharted.
Yeah, and they should leave it and just let it end right there.
Dan, okay, this is the one thing I can tell you about Dan with he and I talking about Halo is that Dan doesn't know when to let a good thing just
No,
sit.
I want to continue playing this great stuff.
I agree.
Just let things end.
Christian's right, but I
things
agree
end.
with Dan.
Thank you, Ro. Thank you.
I want more.
I'm
Yes.
talking to you, MCU. Let things end.
No, don't let it end.
God.
Keep consuming
Piece
it.
of shit TV.
Keep consuming it.
Jesus.
I'll eat it all up.
Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed us eating up all these news stories.
Oh,
Spitting it back out at you with our amazing takes. And you
Hell
guys
yeah.
just eating up the chewed up takes and just
it's a
swallowing it
fucking
in-
vicious circle, baby.
You love to see it. Thank
Just
you.
chewing things up, spitting them in each other's mouths.
Oh God.
It's what this podcast is all about.
Jesus. If there's
Danny
nothing
says.
else you guys wanted to add about the last few stories, can I go ahead and close out the show?
Close it out.
Oh,
Jim Ryan, be better.
Be better, Jim. Thank you again to everyone joining us live on YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Gage. Thank you, Daniel. I'm Rashan, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out.
Much love and keep on gaming.
Not so much love.